Welcome to Bern. E equals MC squared. Whew, boy, I had to come up with that, didn't I? Because it makes no sense whatsoever. Welcome to Bern. In front of me is the Zieglocken, the famous time bells is what that is. But more importantly, the fountains. So this is all good water here, and for some reason I hadn't seen this open before. This is where all the fresh water goes. Obviously this is not being recycled, it's after it falls out of the fountains, but the water in the center of the streets here is for the fresh water for hundreds of years, and this town really hasn't changed since 1600s, 1700s, which is just amazing. And the buses can somehow get through here. So this is the main street here. And Einstein's house is somewhere up ahead, where he came up with E equals MC squared. Whew, boy, I had to come up with that, didn't I? So the idea was the fresh water, and everybody would gather around the fountain and collect that fresh water, and that's in the center of the street, the front of the buildings, and these all back to the dirty water. And so originally there was no indoor plumbing, it was just sort of hanging over the ditch plumbing, but that would go and be separated from the fresh water, and that's all on the back. This whole entire downtown, Old Town area is UNESCO protected, and you can do a study just on the fountains. It's pretty awesome stuff. So I'm here on a cold 4th Monday of November, which is a specific date because that is the onion market. And for the last several hundred years, the onion market has been held on the last Monday of November. Let's see if I can say this right. Zibelemärit. Where is Einstein's house? It should be right around here. When we go into these, let's go into this back alley here. Oh, I could have gotten this lucky. I think I did get this lucky. Yeah, you can just sort of see the architecture back here. So I'll be standing over the plumbing. And there's some of these alleys here that show it a little bit better with the backs of the buildings. Let's go through here. That's a good place to come out on. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to zoom in here. All right, we're coming up on the Rathaus, City Hall. Another beautiful corner of downtown Bern. More cool fountains. There's a story about Napoleon when he took over Switzerland. And he's one of the main reasons, don't tell the Swiss, that Switzerland is our country now. The locals kept telling them wrong information about the streets, so the street signs are different colors, and you can see green and white. So these are different zones, and so Napoleon split the town up into different zones so his men wouldn't be lost and told misinformation as much. We'll go by a little later to Napoleon, where he set his headquarters up. Pretty awesome that we're talking about like Napoleon, and he's 200 years after much of this was built, so a lot of history. Welcome to Bern. E equals MC squared. Whew, boy, I had to come up with that, didn't I? Because it makes no sense whatsoever. All right, one last shot from this main street here. The fountain of justice is blind. Justice is blind for a couple of reasons, not the least of which is there's some secrets right here. Not next to Loveland, not specifically Loveland. Part of the reason why justice is blind. But in the middle of these blocks, they have alleys. And I walked down one of the alleys before to show you this. This was the main alley I wanted to walk down. I learned this by taking a tour of Bern. And so this is a normal cut through, except there's a couple of neat things here. So this building over here is 1622. The indoor plumbing, the outhouse, on the back of the buildings here drops down. This is the dirty water, so the clean water is in the front of the buildings, back of the buildings is the sewage, and this is an actual outdoor pissoir, outdoor urinal for guys only. But if you ever find yourself needing a bathroom in Bern, there is one outdoor bathroom, and there it is. It's just an oddity that I found a long time ago. All these streets are just so much fun. All right. This is child eating ogre. And I guess this was done about 16 something or other. If you look it up, I'll put it in the notes. But parents would tell bad stories about child eating ogre if the kids didn't do their homework or clean up their rooms. So this is the nightmare that generations of children grow up with. All right, we are in front of the Einstein house. And he actually lived up here. It's a museum now. They got a bakery and a souvenir shop as well. But that is Einstein's house, where he came up with E equals MC squared. We're going to go toward the time bells. Let's get some more of the beautiful city. All right, we are getting ready for the clock to strike. Remember, today is the Onion Fest. That's part of the reason we're so many people. Great stuff all around us. Just keep spinning around. And that's it for the day. And I got confetti. Wow, I got confetti pretty well. All right, so I'm behind the Bundes house, and that marketplace is the Bundesplatz. And this is the Aare rivers. So Bern is one big peninsula. It just goes down this way. The river goes around it and comes back. And the peninsula is basically a big cliff. So the entire town, or the old town, has been built on this peninsula. And you can really tell when you walk around on the outside of it near the river, you can tell just through the building structures the different parts of town. So the parts that are down by the river are going to be a little more wild, a little more, I don't want to say poor, just a little more wild, a little more refined the higher up you go on the cliff. Normally, we can see straight out all the way to the Alps, and that is the Bernese Oberland, taken from the name Bern. Bernese Oberland, that's where that name comes from. I just love this. It's just so great. And the high bridges. This is the casino here. So I'm going to walk down here a little bit farther, and then we'll take a look at where Napoleon had his headquarters. And I might shoot to the other side, but this is a part of town that I like a lot. We missed last week. There's a swim that they do, and that goes around, and you know, you have to be a swimmer. They don't just let anybody jump in the cold river and try to swim, so you have to be a registered swimmer to do that. But that's a tradition they have right before the Onion Fest, and usually the first Advent, which is the opening of the Christmas market, Weihnachtsmarkt, the Kringle markets. However, whatever phrase you want to use, it's usually the weekend after. Although I have been here where they combined. I got lucky one year, and it was Christmas market and the Onion Fest. So I had activities from morning until evening. We are walking across the bridge, one of the main bridges here. I just sort of stop while the buses go across. And you can see, just to me, it's just really obvious how this lower level of buildings, like this is where the boat keepers and horse keepers, livestock. Bern Cathedral, Bern Munster, great view. Little hydropower. And I'm pretty sure this beautiful building right next to the casino is where Napoleon set up his shop. When you get across down on the other side where that green slope is, that's where the Bern Bear is kept. And you can just sort of see a building with some umbrellas sticking out. and that's a brewery. And then right underneath that is the walking area for the Bern bear. The actual bear that's living down there. Look at some of the backs of these buildings. And the terracing on the gardens. So the Aare River comes out of the Bernese Oberland. Right, it comes out of the Jungfrau area and later Brownen, past Interlaken into Lake Thun, and then past the city of Thun, where I've got a bunch of video, and that is the beginning of the Aare River. Comes up here, circles around, goes up north, and eventually coalesces with the Limit River out of Zurich. I'm forgetting the name of the river out of Lucerne, and those go into the Rhine and make the Rhine a bigger river. All right, so this morning this whole place was full of booze, and for the most part, you know, the onion vendors have sold out. So this pales in comparison to what it was this morning. And now it's just the kids taking over, throwing confetti. Here's a booth of what the onions. I think they make little animals and wreaths. And like every booth has the same thing. So I don't know why some booths sell out and others don't. Could just be a quantity of inventory. So we are coming up on the Bundeshaus. Bern is the unofficial capital of Switzerland. There's no official capital, but this is where all the government takes place. And this is the main legislative building for the country. And this lot in front here is very it's used very much. There's regular markets like this one that are more than every couple of hundred years. So this was just packed this morning with booze. Not so much anymore. During the Christmas market, which is next week, there'll be an ice skating rink here. I don't know if I'm going to get back for the Bern Christmas market this year, but that's really neat. Right behind me, there's usually a Ferris wheel, and I've gotten to know the Christmas markets pretty well. So I'm going to scoot right over behind the Bundes, and there's a great view of it. This is the Onion Fest. As one of the traditions, the kids get to throw confetti at the adults and hit them with hammers. Oh, okay. Protection mask would be good. So I didn't really tell a backstory on the Onion Festival. It's gone on for a couple hundred years, and one backstory is that the regular market, vegetable markets, and food markets, which traditionally happen today twice a week in the Bundesplatz, they didn't include onions, and so an onion market was created and lasted, you know, until present day. Another is that as a thanks to Freiburg for coming and saving the Bernese during one of the warring times, the Bernese townsfolk got together with all their onions and had a market for the Freiburgs to come and eat their food. whatever the case may be, this is just a madhouse now. And how the tradition of having the kids throw confetti and smack your head with the hammer, I don't really know where that came from, but I'm here with my friend Fabio, and as he says, this is one of his favorite festivals because it makes no sense whatsoever. There's just a whole lot of different things going on, and nobody really knows why. Anyway, that's a quick background on the Onion Festival.